What is up, guys? Pulse Panda here, and today I actually have a build order tutorial for you guys. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I kind of wanted to take a break from StarCraft as noob and do some build order tutorials. I feel like at this point in time it'll help you guys a little bit more. Before I get started, I do have a couple things I want to say. I made a status update video for the 24th of March in 2015. I have that link at the very end of this video, and so if you guys want to skip to the end, that's whatever. It's the second video in the closer title thing, whatever. That'll be basically describing everything that I'm planning to do with my channel and all that stuff, and watch it. Otherwise, today's video is a TvZ, or Terran vs. Zerg, build order tutorial video. I wanted to do it a little bit more in depth, so my kind of plan with these videos is I'm just going to do a versus AI build. I'm not trying to hit the build perfectly for you guys, but I do want to try and cover a little bit more of what's going on during the build order. And if you want to cover it perfectly, just practice it yourself. You don't want to watch someone else hit it perfectly and then feel bad, you know? So, and then the second replay that I'm going to be showing you guys is versus actual player in a ladder game, and just kind of look at how it goes, how to adapt, all that good old stuff. Another thing I do want to mention is that I'm not going to go through, like, if you scout an early cheese, you're going to have to change the builder this way. No, I'm not going to do that. That just comes from experience, and that would take an hour for each video to cover, and I don't have that kind of time. So let's just hop right into it. So like you would start any normal game, you obviously want to start your first SCV, and this builder you're going to be doing a double Reaper fast expand into a Hellion push and a third CC, and some map pressure, and get all that good old stuff going on. One of the great things I love about this build is it really gives you map control and fantastic scouting. You almost always know what the Zerg is doing before they're even able to leave their base to hit you. So you'll see the Roach Warren before they move out, right? And that gives you a huge advantage, and it gives you time to prepare, put down some bunkers, get some widow mines, all that good old stuff. It also lets you know when they're getting their bases and where you can attack. So at 10 supply, you're going to be wanting to be putting up your first supply depot, and like any TvZ matchup, you're going to be wanting to wall off in case, they do a really early Zerglian aggression or something. You don't want them to just be able to waltz right into your base and kill all your SCVs because, well, let's just be honest, that really sucks. So as soon as that supply depot finishes, you're going to want to, I like to send out my scout. It makes the build flow a little bit better, and then you're going to be wanting to place your barracks. And when you're scouting, just kind of send your scout into the mineral line. That way it ignores any collision. At the same time as placing your barracks, you want to skip an SCV and use it to build your refinery. The way I usually do this is usually you'll hit like a half-second supply block before your supply depot finishes. As soon as you get the supply warning, go ahead and rally that SCV to the geyser, and don't make another SCV until you build the refinery. That just makes it flow nice. It arrives just before you have enough, and everything just works out great. And do your normal scout with the SCV. I already covered this sort of thing, and just have it go back to your supply line. Because again, clicking on the minerals makes it dodge any unit collisions and all that good old stuff. So as soon as your barracks finishes, you're going to be wanting to get an orbital command first, and then a Reaper. If you filled up your refinery and got it built at the right time, you should be able to get the orbital just barely before the Reaper. So, I guess you can do it at the same time. It's just a little bit faster. And you don't want to build your second supply depot quite yet. And right now you should be at around 15 supply when you build the orbital. That's usually the benchmark you want to be going for. Actually, it is the benchmark you want to be going for. I'm a liar. Now, in this particular build order, in this particular game, I used my returning Scout SCV to build the supply depot, and it flowed perfectly. But you want to be building the supply depot at 17 supply right after your first Reaper. And if it doesn't flow, just build it. But make sure you're walling. And usually what you want to do with your Reapers until you get your Hellions out is just kind of take control of the Xel'Naga towers and watch for what they're doing. Now, at 20 supply and 400 minerals, you're going to be wanting to build your first expansion inside of your base. Just, again, in case of any early pressure, you don't want to be losing your stuff. And then after your second Reaper pops, you can send your first Reaper just to do a little fling around their base, and don't lose it, but try and get some information with it. So for this, I see that he has a Roach Warren and all that good old stuff. So when you have 150 gas, you're going to want to get a factory and a reactor on your barracks, and you're going to be switching those two out to get some Hellions when they're done. So while that kind of goes, make sure you're building your or dropping your mules. That this build is all about economy and getting the economy. That's why you're going for Hellions, because you know they're fast and they hurt and all that stuff. So you're going to be wanting to make sure you drop your mules, because that always sucks. After you get your factory placed and all that stuff, when you have 400 minerals, make sure to start your third command center. If you forget that, this entire build is completely useless. So, you know, keep that in mind. As soon as your barracks finishes its reactor, you're going to want to just lift it off and drop it and place your factory on the reactor, and then build a tech lab on your barracks, while at the same time moving out your command center. And really, I mean, if you're got low PM, APM and all that, move out your command center first, and then move out your factory, and then worry about the tech lab. As soon as you place the factory, make sure to build 2 Hellions, because, you know, that's kind of the whole thing of this. And when you're placing your tech lab, when you place your tech lab and it finishes, you want to get stim. When you get stim, you also want to be building a refinery, your second refinery. And make sure to fill that up. I actually didn't do that in this game, but, you know, it's not a big deal. And you just want to kind of keep the Hellion around your base for now, just kind of making sure to defend against anything silly, and just make sure to keep building Hellions, because like I said earlier, the Hellions are fast and they do a lot of damage versus biological units, so it allows you to get your third base up and just rock your economy. So now at this point in time, the build order really does finish. Usually you want to push out when you have 2 Hellions around 7 minutes if the opponent has slow Zerglings, or 6 Hellions around 8 minutes if the opponent has Zergling speed, and your initial 2 Reapers at the same time. So that's all the official build order has. At that point in time, as soon as I have 2 Reapers, I like to drop an eBay and another barracks so that I can transition. I've always had issues transitioning in this build, and I'll always run into way too many resources mid-game. And, you know, I've lost a lot of games from that. That's a big deal. So you usually want to make sure you keep your spending low, because you can't spend, because you're rocking your economy. You need to keep up with your production buildings. And then what you want to be doing with your Reaper and your Hellion is just kind of scouting around the map, seeing where they are, seeing what you can get done. Maybe kill off some drones if you see an opening, but try not to lose your stuff. This is just an AI game, didn't really care. Try not to lose your stuff, because that is the most you have for a very long time. So let's just go ahead and get into the real game here. I skipped the first portion of it because I didn't really want to have to, you know, make you guys watch that again. You just watched that in my AI game. So I kind of got to the point where I had a Reaper and a half going on. So while we're just kind of letting this replay go, this build order really only has 2 transitions. The first option you can choose is to go in bio, using your reactored factory for Widow Mines, building up your other biological units. The other choice you have is to go into a large Hellbot push with your army. Going mech, I mean, going mech can work, but I'm kind of biased here, and other people will hate on me and leave some nasty comments. Probably not, don't do it. But mech against Zerg sucks, and you should pretty much never do it, because mech is slow and the Zerg is fast, basically. I mean, the Zerg swarms and the mech doesn't, and bio is just fast and agile, and it can move around with the mech army. But if, you know, you're not fast and agile with your army, then well, you're gonna have a bad time. So using your Hellbot push isn't actually a bad idea, even if you're gonna go bio, because you have assuming you keep your initial Reapers alive. If you don't really bother, because you want to be able to have the scouting and the mobility and whatnot. But if you did drop down your army and get some transformation servos and push with your Marine Hellbat army and proceed to get free low, because the Hellbats do ridiculous damage, as I'm sure you know. If you can get some Hellbats into a mineral line, you're going to absolutely destroy not only their drones, but the hatchery too. And you're going to kill everything, and they're tanky. So I mean, there's not really anything wrong with that. Just investing the extra minerals into doing a quick 6 Hellion Hellbat push, and just go for it. And there's not really any reason to. On the other hand, if your army was killed by the Speedlings or something, your army being the 6 Reapers, or the 2 Reapers and the 6 Hellions, then you don't really have Hellions anymore to make into Hellbats, so you just go ahead, drop a few more barracks, get your tech lab upgrades, reactors, build up, get some, starports and medevacs, and then push out, take some map control, drop, prong attacks, whatnot. In either case, you really want to make your next aggression. Make sure to land your 3rd command center when you do. That is a huge thing. Don't just move out your command center. Land your 3rd command center when you make your next aggression, and saturate it as fast as possible to keep on par with the Zerg player, because any higher level player knows that a Zerg that has 1 more base than you is almost even with you, and a Zerg that is even bases with you is losing. So I kind of want to touch on a little bit more of the specifics of using this build order. It kind of focuses a lot on APM and all that good old stuff, because you want to be using your Hellions, but you don't want them to die, right? So right here, actually, I sent my Hellions into his base to scout, and I see this queen, and I'm thinking, hey, I can get a queen. And then a bunch of speedlings come out of nowhere because I didn't know he had speedlings, because I didn't scout right, and I lose my entire push of Hellions and 1 of my Reapers. Well, this is terrible, because this takes away almost all of my pressure. Yeah, I know he has speedlings, but I don't know anything else he's doing, and now I don't know how many bases he has. I don't know when he's moving out, and I'm just weak as heck. If he attacks my base right now, I'm basically going to lose, because I've just got a wall. That's it. And he can kill it because he's got a lot of Zerglings. So that's one thing you really want to try not to do. Don't back yourself into a corner like that. Now, this is also kind of... that was a weird statement for this, because in some situations when you're microing your Hellions and your Reaper, you want to back into a corner, because that way the Zerglings can't surround you as easily and they can't kill you as fast. But you know what I mean. Don't force yourself into that sort of situation. It helps you live longer. And if you do get put in that situation, don't do what I did literally 30 seconds ago and just suicide them all. Like in the corner, have them suicide through the base. See what you can scout with them, because they're going to die anyway. They might as well give you some intelligence, right? You might as well learn what's going on. So like here, he's got those speedlings, scary, but I see he has double evos and a roach warren. So I mean, that's something you definitely want to do. And I actually got my Hellion into his 2nd base, that way I could see what he's got going on, and he didn't have a whole lot. Another thing you do want to keep in mind, right now in this game, I don't have my starport, and that's terrible, because I have stim, and I don't have my starport. Why? Why don't there? See, now there it is, but I've already got 3 barracks in the factory. I should have had my starport before I had my other 2 barracks. That's just a little bit of a thing to keep in mind. Like, your starport is huge, and making sure you don't lose your medevacs is huge. And watching this replay, recording it for you guys, you need to pay attention to your medevacs. I lost so many medevacs just because I didn't even care. And it's a big deal, and it really cuts things a lot closer in the game than you really prefer to have. So, I mean, that's about all I have going on for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. I would love to answer your questions. That is the entire point of this series and of this channel and of everything I've been doing on the internet for the past while. And if you guys aren't asking questions and you guys aren't understanding it, I am just completely wasting my time. So if you don't understand something, just feel free to ask it. I would love to help you out. I want to make this community stronger, and this is the best way I honestly know how. So otherwise, if you guys have any comments, thoughts, suggestions, concerns, complaints, or anything like that, leave them in the comments below, or leave them at pulsepanda.com/feedback. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.